What's up everybody, it's your boy Augusto again, back at it with another video. As you guys can tell from the title of this video, this is probably why you have clicked on this video. We will be going over how and what you will need to go ahead and achieve the 400 horsepower mark on a FA20 motor WRX, also known as a 2015 and up WRXs. If you guys are new here, I am your boy Augusto, and if you haven't already, please do feel free to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, help this channel grow, and give us a thumbs up for us trying to share the information that we had gained knowledge of in the process of building our cars. So with that said, let's go ahead and step over to the desk over here and talk about step number one onto reaching 400 horsepower. Let's go. All right, now, like I said, step number one, we're going to start things off with getting yourself a Cobb access port. Now, understanding Cobb has this Greenworks project or whatever like that, it is going to be an update to where you cannot necessarily take off or get rid of the check engine light on your motors if you're running illegal non-carb legal aftermarket parts such as Catless J Pipe. So we'll get into that later on in the video, but to start things off, get yourself a Cobb access port or a standalone tuner, unless you want to go open source. Choices, man, choices. Step number two, you're going to have to get yourself a cold air intake. At this point, you're going to be considered as being stage 1 plus, meaning you're going to have the Cobb access port and the intake. Not necessarily having to be a Cobb intake, but to name a few, you could go ahead and do a Cobb Redline intake, Cobb Big SF intake, MA Performance cold air intake, 1320, Moshimoto, so on and so forth. You have tons of options, but this will all depend on your budget. All right, step number 3, stage 2 plus. You're going to be having the Cobb access port, the cold air intake, and now a catted J pipe. Catted J pipe, only reason why I'm saying is because I'm coming from California, and California is ridiculous when it comes to emissions, which I understand, we're trying to go green, save Mother Nature and the earth, but catted J pipe will be recommended for us that are residing in California. But if you're trying to make high horsepower, go ahead and get yourself a Catless J pipe, but I will warn you, you will have a tendency of boost creep. But like I said, catted J pipe California, if you're trying to have a straight up racing car, sorry, that is Louis. Come, Louis. Oh, hi. But yes, let's go ahead and move over to step number 4. This one right here, you're probably going to be making about 293, close to 300 horsepower. Stage 2 plus. Now, let's go ahead and shift over to step number 4. Step number 4, you're at this point going to have to get yourself a electronic boost controller and a top mount intercooler. At this point, you could be considered as stage 2 plus. I mean, if you're rich, go ahead and do the front mount intercooler. But then again, if you're not trying to push extensive amount of power, a top mount intercooler will do. As far as right now, you can name a few: Cobb top mount, Green Speed top mount, Perrin top mount, Moshimoto top mount, Process West verticooler. I hear that Process West is a lot more beneficial when it comes to top mount, only due to the angle of the intercooler itself. But now, stage 2 plus, at this point, you're probably going to be making about 350, closer to 350 horsepower. All right, so modification number 5. Get yourself a flex fuel kit. I know with the Greenworks project that Cobb has currently right now, you cannot get yourself the version 1 anymore because at this point it's just paperweight. They're not going to be able to go ahead and do any tunes. As far as right now, my car is one of the last batch of the version 1s that was still able to get tuned. Literally, it was the last week of being able to be tuned. If I missed that date, I wasn't going to be able to go on Flex. But version 2, I heard through the grapevines that they will start a version 2 pretty soon that will be carb legal, but it hasn't been set in stone yet. I haven't heard much about it from the last time I read about it, but get yourself a flex fuel kit. At this point, you have what? A Cobb access port, intake, J pipe, top mount intercooler or front mount intercooler, electronic boost controller, just to be safe and whatnot, and then that flex fuel kit. As far as right now, if you guys have been keeping up with my build, my car is at 408 horsepower, wheel horsepower that is, and 378 foot-pounds of torque. I'm currently running stock transmission, stock bottom end. She's holding up pretty well. Hopefully in the future I can film a video that will talk about if the Greenworks project has affected me or not with my build. And yeah, so with that said, my dog is outside going crazy. But yeah, let's go back to the desk and let's talk a little bit more on what you could do to support your power mods. Stay tuned. At this point, supporting mods you can get is a air oil separator. I personally am trying to go ahead and run the Cobb air oil separator, also known as the AOS for short. But a lot of people in the FA20 community have been recommending the IAG Street Series, that is, just so you don't need an extra tune. But if you do get the competition series, I think it was, on IAG, you will need a tune for that. So with that said, I will go ahead and get everything summed up for you guys. So you have the access port, intake, J pipe, top mount intercooler, electronic boost controller, you have the flex fuel kit, and now a Cobb AOS or any AOS of your choice. You can go do the catch can route. I haven't dug in more into that, so based off my knowledge, this is what I know so far. I'm sharing it with you guys, and this is going to be the end of the video. So if you guys like this video and this actually was helpful to you, please do not hesitate to comment down below if you have any questions. Comment down below if you have any suggestions for me, for my build and stuff like that. Stay tuned for the next video. Hopefully I could go ahead and talk to you guys more about how it's holding up, how it feels to be dailying a 400 horsepower car. And with that said, thank you so much again for watching. Till the next video, like always, stay positive and be awesome. Peace. Get yourself a reputable tuner around your area. As far as right now, I am Pro Tuned by Stone Performance. You can go eTune, Pro Tune, or the off the shelf for the time being. But as far as right now, what I've heard is you do not want to stay on the off the shelf map for too long, because it does run a little bit rich and it won't be that reliable.